When my parents divorced, my brother went to live with our dad, my sister stayed with our mom, and I was placed in foster care because I was considered the extra. Just as I finally found a family that truly loved me, my biological family returned. When my parents split, my brother went with dad, my sister stayed with mom, and I was shuffled off to foster care. I was the extra kid, the one who didn't fit. Just when I finally found a family who truly saw me, they came back. Charles, honey, you need to understand this isn't about you. But if it wasn't about me, why was I the only one packing my life into garbage bags? Mom, why does Sophie get to stay? Because the court decided. Because you can only afford one kid, right? Stop making this harder than it has to be. I'm not making it hard. You are. You're abandoning me. Mrs. Rodriguez will be here in 10 minutes. Please just get your stuff together. My dad took my brother, Mom kept my sister, and I ended up bouncing between strangers' houses like a ping-pong ball nobody wanted to catch. Hi, I'm Charles. Today, I'm going to share the story of the day my family was carved up like a leftover pizza nobody really craved. But before we dive into that, please hit the like button and subscribe for more real stories that might just make you rethink everything you thought you knew about family. You know what's wild about family court? They talk about the best interests of the child like it's some perfect science experiment. But when you're 13, standing in a sterile courthouse, watching your parents divide your siblings like they are splitting up the furniture, you realize grown-ups are just winging it, too. They are just better at wearing suits while they mess up your life. My parents' marriage had been on its last legs for years. Dad buried himself in his construction business, returning home covered in sawdust and exhaustion. Mom dove headfirst into nursing shifts at General Hospital, waking doubles to avoid the constant tension at home. My older brother, Jake, at 15, had already checked out mentally. 8-year-old Sophie was still young enough to believe Mom and Dad might mend things. And then there was me, stuck in the middle at 13. Middle child, middle of the chaos, middle of absolutely nowhere. We need to have a family meeting, Dad announced one Saturday morning, his voice carrying that familiar tone adults use when they are about to drop a bombshell. The pancakes Mom had made grew cold on our plates as they explained their divorce. Jake just shrugged, like he'd been expecting it. Sophie burst into tears. I sat there, doing the math in my head. 3 kids, 2 parents. Someone wasn't going to fit that equation. We'll figure out custody so everyone's taken care of, Mom promised, her voice wavering, trying to convince herself as much as us. 6 months later, I understood exactly what taken care of meant in grown-up language. The custody battle turned into a bitter war waged with lawyers instead of armies. Mom wanted all 3 of us. Dad fought for all 3. But Judge Harrison, a stern woman with silver hair and zero patience, viewed our case like a complex math problem, not a decision about our futures. Given the circumstances, she announced, shuffling papers as if our lives were just another Tuesday afternoon, I'm awarding primary custody of Jake to Mr. Thompson, as the teenage boy has expressed a strong preference to remain with his father and continue at his current high school. Sophie will remain with Mrs. Thompson,